We are getting closer to the start of the 2021 AFL season, and it's now a good time to put out my predictions for the season, which will probably be well off on what actually happens. But anyway, there will be people pissed off because I don't have their team doing well, and disagreements as I have different teams finishing in different positions compared to others, but that's just the nature of predictions. With that said, it's time to get started. In the bottom four, I have North Melbourne finishing 18th, Hawthorn 17th, Essendon 16th and Adelaide 15th. First off, it's going to be a long year for the Roos. Of course, as we know, they have let go of Ben Brown, which is a blow despite him being well out of form in 2020. And although they will get back a few players from injury, like Ben Cunnington, and picked up Jaden Stevenson in the trade period, North Melbourne are still way off from the benchmark and will finish last. In 17th, I have Hawthorn, and they'll need Tom Mitchell to try and get back into Brownlow form if there are going to be any chance to make something out of 2021. But with limited options forward and a team that struggles in clearances and contested ball, this again will see them continue to struggle. Essendon will finish 16th in my opinion. Now 16 years without a finals win, I suspect they'll drop further down the ladder in 2021. It isn't all bad news for the Bombers, as they're now looking to accumulate young talent and look to properly rebuild under new coach Ben Rutten. But having one of the worst percentages in 2020 indicated that their finishing position of 13th may have flattered them a little bit, as they both struggled for goals and look very dodgy in the back 50, and I expect the trend to continue. Adelaide finished 18th and plumb last in 2020. I think they'll avoid the spoon this time around though, as they looked far better in the back end of last season. Young guns like Lachlan Scholl should hopefully see Adelaide propel themselves off the bottom of the table for now. But until their young players develop, they'll still have to develop quite a bit more before thinking of playing finals games. Now for the 11 to 14 spots, and I have Melbourne in 11th, Sydney 12th, Collingwood 13th and GWS 14th. And speaking of GWS, it's not often you go from playing in the grand final in one year to completely missing out on the top 8 the next year, but this is exactly what the Giants managed. The pain won't go away either for them. Losing key forward Jeremy Cameron is a big blow, and the team could very well be staffed of firepower going forward now. They do have a decent midfield with the likes of Josh Kelly and Team Taranto, but they do lack a bit in other departments, so Giants for me will finish 14th. Collingwood have been in the media quite a bit for a lot of the wrong reasons this off-season. They did scrap through an impressive win against the Eagles last year in the elimination final, but I feel that the club may hit a blimp in 2021. They had a disastrous trade period, losing players like Adam Treloar and Jaden Stevenson on the cheap. They don't have an awful team, but the fact that I don't see them improving as a team means that they'll slide down to 13th. Sydney for me will improve on the 2020 season, but it won't be enough for them to make the finals. Buddy Franklin returning to the side after a long injury layoff should help their chances of winning more games in 2021, even at the age of 34. The Swans will still be one of the youngest sides in the comp, so time is still very much on their side to develop the list. But with Luke Parker and Jake Lloyd at their peaks, they'll want to be in contention for a good finals run soon. But it is just 1 year too early for them in my opinion, so I reckon they'll have to settle for 12th. Many people will believe that I have Melbourne too low on the ladder, with many betting on the D's to possibly be vying for a top 4 spot. But I don't know. They certainly do have some good key position players like Ruckman Max Gawn, new recruit Ben Brown, and Stephen May. I feel that the team is a little overrated to be honest. I'm not the biggest fan of the defensive pressure, and evidence of this was them coming dead last in tackles last year. Melbourne could be one of the teams I easily get wrong, but we can only wait and see. Just missing out on the 8, I have Gold Coast in 9th and West Coast Eagles in 10th. West Coast might very well have a star-studded midfield in Tim Kelly, Luke Shuri and Andrew Gaff, but overall, I see this as a team that is starting to seriously age now. Both Josh Kennedy and Shannon Hearn will both be turning 34, as well as an injury-prone Nick Natanui turning 31, as well as Luke Shuri, and you start to realise that this team will need to look towards other players to step up, with more dependence on youth likely for 2021, thanks to a probable likely injury list, means that I can't really put them higher than 10th. Regarding Gold Coast, and I seriously think they can be a real contender for making finals in 2021. Lord Matt Rowell is proving he is a god amongst mortals, and we certainly hope he'll be able to put together a full season this time around. Isaac Rankin, Noah Anderson, Ben King and Charlie Ballard are just some examples of the plethora of young stars the Sunshine State has, and with quarters going back to 20 minutes, this should mean the Suns will outrun some teams late on, which could win them quite an amount of games, but just not enough for the maiden finals appearance. Making the top 8 I have Fremantle. This is a team that is coming up very nicely under coach Justin Longmire, and even though they were a few games outside the 8 last season, I believe they'll make another jump in 2021, which should see them play finals for the first time since 2015. Sean Darcy, Luke Ryan and Angus Brayshaw are all starting to become star players, and since they were the second youngest team last year, this shows that the team still has a lot of development to go, and this team could seriously see themselves vying for a premiership in the future. In 7th, I have Carlton. Carlton have made some good business trading for Adam Saad and Zach Williams, who instantly improved the team. 2021, however, has to be the year where the Blues make genuine strides towards finals footy, for which they have been starved of for a long time. I expect Patrick Cripps to bounce back from what was a rather average season from his standards and get back into Brownlow form. And with the likes of Sam Walsh and Harry Mackay, as well as others now starting to become more prominent in the team, I expect Carlton to finish 7th. In 6th place, I predict will be Geelong, which could shock a few considering they're one of the favourites for the year, and you can see why, as they've acquired Jeremy Cameron, Isaac Smith and Sean Higgins over trade period and look star-studded. But I have a fear that with many players on the team now in their 30s, they won't be able to get as many games in these players, which could leave them a bit exposed. This is something Chris Scott will have to manage throughout the season, and I see this as the reason why I can't put them any higher than 6th. Now to the Western Bulldogs, and I have them coming 5th. Another team that really pulled off some great bang for your buck trades, adding yet another midfielder in Adam Treloar, and although you could argue that they already have a stacked midfield, the acquisition of Treloar makes them have one of the best midfields in the comp. They are definitely one of the poorer teams defensively though, where they just don't stack up against the truly elite teams. Jamara Ugle-Hagan and Aaron Norton do have the potential to be one of the best forward duos in the league soon, but for now, I think top 4 is just slightly out of reach for them. Defending champions Richmond for me will be in the 4th spot. They could very well be on their way towards a three-peat, but they've also had a couple of off-field issues. However, I don't expect this to really derail them as much, as they just have so much class all over the field. Will they still have the hunger to go again and fight for another premiership? That will be the biggest question for the Tigers. They will have their dips in form here and there as they've shown the last few seasons, and for that reason I have them finishing 4th, but expect Richmond to go far once again. St Kilda will make another leap and finish 3rd in my view. The Saints now have had great back-to-back trade periods substantially helping the team big time. They also have a very versatile forward line with both size and agility in these positions. I also like them in the other end of the field too, where Dougal Howard and co have been really solid over the past 12 months. Add a solid midfield bunch too with Brad Crouch coming in, and St Kilda could make a surprise run at the flag in 2021, but I'm not tipping them as my premiers. Port Adelaide for me finished 2nd on the ladder. I might not be predicting them to become minor premiers like they did in 2020, but they'll still be one hell of a team. This team doesn't get enough credit defensively in my opinion, as they were clearly one of the best defensive teams in the league and generally work well as a collective unit. They were also the best contested possession team in the league and have the X-factor players to create something out of nothing as well, which is a great balance to have. Additionally, combine Charlie Dixon with a bunch of high-scoring mids, and we could see Port Adelaide as the premiers in 2021. I have Brisbane as this year's minor premiers. The Lions would have been majorly disappointed with a big loss to the Cats in the prelim, but I think this will serve as great motivation to amend things in the new season. Joey Daniher, if he gets fit, could just be the perfect guy to make Brisbane possess one of the best forward lines in the league, provided he can avoid injury as well as kick straight, Eric Hipwood included too. But after gaining 2 years of good finals experience, this could very well be Brisbane's time to shine and redeem their first flag since three-peating in the early 2000s, as I suspect Lachie Neale to maintain his sensational form, which won him the Brownlow last year. 2 other predictions now, and I am tipping Marcus Bontempelli to win the Brownlow medal for the first time ever, while I have Jeremy Cameron taking out the Coleman medal in his debut season for the Cats. Matt Rowell will win the Rising Star Award if he stays away from injury. And finally, I think Sam Draper will be the one to improve the most and become a highly solid ruckman after showing glimpses in 2020. And for my ultimate prediction of who takes out the flag, and I just can't go past the Brisbane Lions, who I think will make it third time lucky in their 3rd consecutive finals appearance. What are your predictions for the 2021 AFL season? Let me know in the comments section, and don't forget to like and subscribe.